here, and today it's gonna be a simple stream. Right, there's a surprise live stream. It's non-scheduled, and we're gonna watch what's happening with the Coinbase listing on Nasdaq. So this is super big, right? It's a direct listing for Coinbase company shares going on Nasdaq today. Well, right now the markets are open, but the trading hasn't exactly started for Coinbase yet. So very likely what's happening is during the markets open, and then what's going to happen is they're going to take the orders. So the entire Nasdaq, they're going to take the orders for where the buys and the sells are, and then they're going to listed on Nasdaq, and that's when it's going to go live. So I'm just going to give you to this view right here. So if you look at Nasdaq right now, if you look at market activity and you look at coin, so this is Coinbase Global, you don't see any data available, right? So this is like live real time. It's not up yet. It's not up yet. So we're still kind of waiting for it. So what they put as a value. So they're saying, okay, look, they're looking at a $250 value for the listing of Coinbase. But obviously we get some data beforehand of how this is going to trade, because everyone's really talking about this number right here. Because if this number is larger than 250, if it goes to 350, or what we're seeing on FTX over here at around 440 right now, we're gonna go be in sort of some surprise. But of course, I just saw a question that's being asked here, and it's like, why is the market dumping? Why dump, guys? This should be good, Coinbase listing on Nasdaq, it should be good. Why the dump through? Well, obviously, of course, generally with crypto, with everything that's going on here, a lot of people buy into the hype, and when the news does come out, obviously there's a market correction. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. Obviously nothing here is financial advice, but we see just a very tinge of this. And this is I was so close to making it like Coinbase, the title of the video, it goes like Coinbase Nasdaq listing equals to market dump, but I'm going to refrain, because I feel like what we're seeing here is also some really strong support as well. So I'm not going to say this is such a tiny fluctuation, and if this is a dump, that's scary, because if this tiny thing is a dump, you call this a dump? Well, yeah, if this is a dump, then that means we're gonna go like that, right? Like if the market can't even dump properly, like that means there's a lot of people waiting to just buy right back into everything here, right? So anyway, so right now directly we can't actually see what's happening on Nasdaq, but what's trading very frantically right now is coin on FTX. So this is it's kind of their pre-IPO contract right here. So this is being traded, and it gives you a good indicator of what's happening. So if you look at the price history of this, so earlier today, it rallied all the way to $620 for one share of coin, and then now it's dropped. There was a huge dump roughly at around 10. So I think that's when people were afraid, and people saw some early orders, right? So some people saw some sell orders there at around 300, 200. People were taking screenshots of what the orders are looking like at Nasdaq, and people got freaked out a little bit. And then we see the price of that dropping from 600 down to 400. So there's kind of like pre-trading on Nasdaq. It gives you an indicator, but it doesn't tell you the full story. Obviously, the volume here is much lower than what you would expect on Nasdaq. So this is it's an indicator of what's going to happen, but it's not the final kind of conclusion of the market listing. Now, today, obviously, we're all waiting for this. Like, it does take some time. This is where, the guys in suits, they have to make sure everything's okay. And a lot of times, the information is a little bit weak on the live updates. But we do have, Coinbase, they're putting out their ads up right now on Times Square. Nasdaq opening, it's always there. It's a direct listing. It's not an IPO. So it just goes and lists directly on them. Directly on the market at a given price. So they just have to decide pretty much where the buys and the sells are, and then they kind of like flip lists on Nasdaq. Here we go. So expect a lot of volatility, expect a lot of action today. I do want to play with you guys an interview, right? So this is the pre-listing interview. This is done by CoinDesk with digital currency group Barry Silbert. I found this to be extremely insightful. So The Digital Currency Group is an early investor in Coinbase. So this guy Barry Silbert there has invested. They're early investors, and guys at Coinbase asked him what he's gonna do. So let me just play that to you very quickly, guys.
How many shares do you guys have, and do you cash out here? Is this your exit strategy, or are you waiting?
Wow, you're going right for it. I love it. Yeah, look, we're not a big shareholder, but we invested $100,000 in Coinbase. I think it was a note that converted into the Series A, and so that $100,000 I think we've got about 500,000 shares today. And then we eventually put another $1 million in, I think it was Series C. But what's interesting is when I made that investment, it would have been, I think it was like April 2013. I actually used Bitcoin to make that investment. So the $100,000, I did a little digging this morning. I used 667 Bitcoin to make that investment in Coinbase. And what's really interesting is up until, frankly, today, Bitcoin was a better investment than even Coinbase, which I think is just a tremendous thing, and people have been able to participate in fantastic upside by owning Bitcoin, and so I was doing the math, and I think that $100,000 of Bitcoin at the time today is worth 50 million. So those 500,000 shares, depending on where you think it trades today, it ended up being a better trade. Now those Bitcoin, I bought for, I probably spent $5,000 on that Bitcoin. So 5,000 to 100,000, 100,000 to do the math, whatever you think Coinbase is worth. So anyway, look, it's a great win for early investors. It's a great win for the Coinbase employees. And of course, we will take some money off the table. But the way that we're set up, that money just gets replowed back into the ecosystem. We may buy Bitcoin. We may buy Bitcoin miners. We're going to try to find the next Coinbase. We're gonna invest more money in Luno to scale globally. Maybe we'll help CoinDesk, double your editorial staff. That money just gets plowed right back.
I'm good with that. That's good.
All right, so I'm gonna pause that there, but holy crap, right? Like that's some serious Chad. Like Barry is definitely a crypto Chad right there. So like look at the numbers that he put out. All right, so let's just look at the numbers for Coinbase first. So he did a $100,000 investment in Coinbase in 2013. Those became 500,000 shares, right? So that equals to around 20 cents per share. All right. If I get my math right, that's 20 cents. He bought that at 20 cents a share in 2013. So now at this current going price, right, that's $448. Like, come on. So he definitely made a killing on Coinbase. I mean, that's an absolute given. And obviously he did 2 rounds. So one earlier, that's the convertible note, and then he did Series C as well. He didn't disclose how much he invested in Series C, but you can definitely see that he made some incredible gains. He did tweet, obviously, that he's not going to sell at 250. So he's like, he made a tweet yesterday. He's like, I will not be selling any of my Coinbase stock to you at 250. But he did go on to say that maybe at like 400 or 500, like, why not, right? He like any responsible investor at this point would have to de-risk slightly. Right, that's just to say the least, right? And this is going to go across the board, not just with Barry Silbert, but with anyone who's invested in a Coinbase early on, whether Series A, B, or C. They're all going to make profit, right? Like they're all massively in the green. They're going to make profit, and anyone responsible, would say, especially if their LPs will say, yo, you gotta de-risk this a little bit, right? You gotta de-risk. So that's gonna be the key thing here today. So this is where I personally think, right? This is why personally I'm not buying any coin. Like I have the option to buy on FTX, that's a possibility, but I think the speculation phase it's just too much right now. Especially what I see now is that because they're being unloaded to the public, right? This is where people, a lot of funds could potentially set up sell orders or limit sell orders. So what happens is as the coin climbs, as people get more and more interested, the people who got in earlier at like say 20 cents, like buried over there, they're gonna take some profits, right? So that's kind of expected. That's expected. So that's probably also explains why there's a big red candle here because there are people who can dump this stock, right? So previously, because we were looking a lot at FTX, but the problem with FTX is that they don't represent the traditional institutional investors. They can't just go connect their input their coins onto this exchange and dump it, right? This is whatever FTX had available. So in that sense, yeah, it could be possible, but at the same time, the valuation that was given by Nasdaq, right? They're calling the previous close, right? But 250 is still a lot lower than what we're seeing right now. So I'm actually seeing pretty positive. It seems to be a very overwhelmingly positive response right now for Coinbase. So it's going above the 250. So we'll have to wait. We'll see how it goes. We're still waiting here. So anyways, that's going to go on. But anyways, let's go back to the interview a bit. I think that's quite interesting because yet again, it really confirms what I was saying in the last video, right? The last video where I was saying that funds need to start diversifying out of Coinbase, right? They need to sell, and like Barry's here is telling you he's going to buy Bitcoin. He's going to buy Bitcoin miners. Let's just take a quick look at
what in terms of how much are you going to cash out? How much are you going to leave in ultimately?
It's a good question. A lot of it is just relative for us, relative to the other assets that we have, but also relative to other opportunities.
I saw you tweet 250 wasn't a good price to start to sell at.
No. I mean and I think as you guys have pointed out, that's just a starting reference price. Coinbase at 150 billion, I will certainly convert Coinbase shares into other investments in the space. Below that, don't know.
What's your outlook on Bitcoin in terms of the near term and long term, and for the industry at large?
The prospects for Coinbase. That was a question.
The price.
Oops, sorry. I was like, I think that's probably pretty much it. Like then he talks about his prospects and stuff, but you definitely see that he was looking to he's gonna have to cash out at a certain point, and this is gonna be across the board, and definitely it's gonna a lot of people are saying, a lot of funds, including Barry, saying he's going to go back and plow that money back into the cryptocurrency ecosystem, right? So I think this is where the opportunity is, the underlying asset. We saw Bitcoin moving up throughout the entire week on this, right? So if you look at performance last 7 days, we got Bitcoin up 8%, Ethereum up 10%. Also, Ethereum's having some major event today as well. There's the Berlin hard fork happening on Ethereum. And then, of course, Binance Coin made major headlines at 35%. This is like a major FOMO, right? I mean, if you're looking for evidence of exchanges, moving after the Coinbase excitement, well, Binance is there, right? Their market cap is right now at $84 billion. People were probably looking at Coinbase's revenues, and then they're saying, what's Binance doing? And then Binance is like reporting bigger numbers, and it shouldn't have a bigger market cap. But of course, remember that Binance Coin is not an equity, right? So I think one distinction here is that when we look at crypto, we're looking at coins a lot of times utility or for network. So this is, in many ways, it's not comparable, but it gets complicated. All right, it gets very, very complicated. So anyway, so that was what's happening. And so recently, just now, so I need to cough a little bit. So just now I was on Rand Neuner's show, so that was Crypto Banter, and he's asking the very important question of what I'm doing now in this market, right? So I'm just gonna recap a little bit because I thought that was a very good summary. Like I think a lot of people are asking this question, what am I doing in this market? So first and foremost, I'm not speculating in Coinbase. I think there is a very limited upside potential, at least in this week. So I feel like if people want to cash out, if the funds want to cash out, the people who are dumping, they'll probably dump, and then we'll have to see where the floor is, and then that's where I'll probably look at things. So I'm not going to immediately plow money into Coinbase. That's not my personal strategy. Second of all, I'm not going to touch my Bitcoin or Ethereum or VeChain bags. So you guys know that this is my primary kind of big bags. Those are the big bags I'm holding. I'm not going to touch them for the time being, right? So I feel like that's not necessary. I don't think I need to take profits as a current point. And because there's going to be more attention, the hodl is going to continue on until that interest fades, right? So until we start to see the first drops of winter, until winter starts coming, I'm not going to touch that, right? The hodl stays, and the hodl's been with me for a long ass time, and the hodl stays. Now, the medium bags, I haven't actually changed that much either. Like I was talking about Trust Swap being there, Utrust being there, Swissborg. I think Swissborg right now is in a really prime position too, if you actually look at it. Like they haven't grown explosively like Binance, and yet they're an exchange and they provide exchange services, especially in Europe. It's super, super popular. So yeah, my medium bags like Engine exploded, but I haven't really taken that much profit yet. I took a little bit of profit. Like Engine just like blew up, right? It's like blew all the way up to like $3 something, somewhat like $3, almost $4. So I took a little bit of profits here, but I'm not touching the remainder. I feel like NFT space, that's not going anywhere. And BNB, yet again, I took around 20% profits, a little bit more aggressive on that. I just felt like this exchange hype, might as well. My entry price was around $18 to $25. So going to 500, I'm taking some profits, just getting my initial capital back in that sense. Now, the next big play that I'm taking a look at is with decentralized finance. I feel like, if there are people, like if the Coinbase phenomenon is real, right? We already know that Coinbase is attracting a lot of attention on going on Nasdaq. Everyone's talking about it. Well, if that's the case, and everyone's going to look to invest in concrete, very solid products, right? That's kind of the situation here. So let me give you some data. So I was asking them, I actually want to thank the folks at Genesis Block Ventures for providing a lot of these websites for the data we see here. So first of all, I definitely think decentralized finance, just look at this right now. So this is revenue, total fees paid for DeFi. Right, look at that. This only starts off. This chart really starts off in April 6th of 2020. It starts off at $18 million. But look, arriving to the same time, all right, April 2021, April 2nd, 2021, we have $1.2 billion of revenue in decentralized finance products, right? So this is like explosive growth. Look at that. That's cumulative, obviously. So you see like just that huge amount of interest and a lot of money being made. And to put that into perspective, right? We have, say, Coinbase, right? Coinbase's 2020 earnings. If you look at the revenue, right? So 2020, the revenue was 1.1. Let me load up two more rows. Coinbase revenue users 666 before I go out all crazy, because I don't know why the numbers were Coinbase. All right, the numbers I used here was from here. Just bear with me a sec. Okay, so 2020. Okay, so 2020, yeah, so that makes sense. Okay, so 2020 is $1.14 billion. So just now the numbers were right. So 1,000 million is $1.14 billion in 2020. So compare that to DeFi. So in a year, DeFi pretty much did the same amount, but there's a key difference, right? DeFi only really started last year. That whole trend, the whole DeFi thing that only started. Coinbase was around since 2012, right? So if you put that into perspective, holy crap, like, like DeFi is pretty explosive. And a lot of that is on Uniswap. So if you look at that right now, That's like what 570. I can't really read right now. It's really late for me. $570 million revenue generated on Uniswap. You have others like Sushi Swap, Compound Balancer, all coming. Keeper DAO, Ava. What else is there? What's the other line? Like 1inch, Bancor, and then Tokyo. So you can see, all right, you can see there are concrete numbers being put out there, and I think this is what's going to attract people, right? So that's what I feel like. This is kind of a situation where DeFi really took a backseat. The last few months, the narrative was NFT. Right, I think NFTs are still gonna go. Right, if you guys probably see me talking a lot about Refinable, I feel like I'm talking to them. There's like so much interest. I feel like it's gonna go, but at the same time, I feel DeFi has been something that's really much forgotten for the past month or so. So yet again, that was what I was like saying. Just to kind of repeat what I was saying, if because this is something that Rand actually asked me before doing the show with him. He's like, oh, what's your top picks? Okay, fine. If I have to do picks, which I don't usually do, if I had to do picks, first of all, Uni, right? Uni hasn't moved too much. It's did 8%, but overall, like the past month or so, after the V4 hype, it hasn't moved too much there. And then also, I said Swap. Swap is something that I was looking into figures for. Trust Swap here. So Trust Swap is kind of interesting, right? You guys know I'm an advisor for Trust Swap, and they're one of the fastest growing teams out there. They're being basically, instead of just making, just simple swaps and securing that, one of the biggest things that's coming is their smart swaps. So go to team.finance. So they're going to have something called a smart launch where anyone can launch and mint tokens, and those go immediately, like they can do it for free, but 0.5 of that goes, actually 0.4% of that goes straight to token holders of Swap. So if you look at the platform right now of Team, so what's already locked right now is $1.4 billion of tokens. So it's already proven itself to be something that can create and lock tokens. And then of course, if you want to look at the liquidity locks as well, it's around $75 million. So it's proven track record plus the ability to mint new tokens coming up soon. So that's the other one that I was pointing out. And the third one I gave was Refinable. Obviously, you guys probably know Refinable, NFTs, huge amounts of work there. Like, dude, the amount of work being done on this is just utterly insane at this current point. And it's on Binance Smart Chain. People can trade art. And this is something super needed on Binance Smart Chain because everyone wants to trade NFT there, right? So that's kind of the situation that I'm looking at. These are the things that I'm looking at. This last one, of course, last one today, the launch is Genesis Shards. So Genesis Shards just launched today. And I wanted to fill this bit of information in before kind of everyone goes crazy. I mean, everyone sees NFTs, it's going to go crazy. But this isn't just NFTs. This is a vehicle for NFTs. So it's making DeFi, it's allowing DeFi products. So basically you have time lock tokens or kind of limited time tokens or tokens with low liquidity. You can pack them into an NFT. So that's kind of what's the value here. So it's not just as simple, oh, look, we're creating art, but they're actually doing DeFi products with that as well. So anyways, those are, if you need me to show 3 things, right? This is something I don't really do very heavily on my channel. I know a lot of people actually want this because that's pretty much all I get asked when I go on other people's shows. So I'm going to be a little bit more shilly on this channel. I feel like that's, I feel like talking about my passion, I think that's kind of important, and sharing a lot of information as well. So I think I've been kind of restructuring how I do and present stuff on this show. And I felt that a lot of people wanted this type of information. And also the other one that I promised you guys for ages is about my portfolio. Right. Yeah, definitely need to do that coming up soon. So Jason Wu says Trust Swap. Yeah, man. Trust Swap has just been performing kind of incredibly well. Just like I still remember like when I first joined on board, like they were very much focused on just creating like a way for people to distribute coins for escrow payments. But then that really quickly just evolved to Launchpad, to the team.finance, to and then there's a new app coming soon that's going to be insane. So anyways, just stay tuned for that. So it is a situation where TrustSwap, yes, did have some explosive growth, but at the same time, the amount of work they're doing, the scope of their project has also vastly expanded as well. So got Lauren Laces, show it up, bro. And then Alvin Alberto says, Michael, super duper bullish on VeChain. Any videos on VeChain in my box mining video database? Man, you do not know how much I speak to my friends about VeChain. I don't even know what to say here. If you want to ask me about VeChain, I don't know what to say. I mean, look. Past 30 days, it's up 155%, and 1 year it's up 4,600%. Holy crap! There was a point though. Okay, so I'll be honest. Like VeChain was not an easy hold, right? It's going parabolic right now. If you zoom out a little bit, you put it out to max, you look at what's happening 2018 till now, it's pretty much one giant hockey stick up. This is why I'm a little bit apprehensive talking about it, because obviously it's just exploding, right? And a lot of people, you guys know, anything that's exploding, you have to be very careful because you don't know where it's going. But I'm just holding on with fucking diamond hands. This is when I'm allowed to swear, because man, when VeChain dropped, right? So I've been a long-term hodler of VeChain. When VeChain dropped, it hurts. It really hurt me, right? It was one of my bigger bags. I moved it up there. It was one of my bigger bags, and taking a huge loss was not easy. And on top of that, right? Like people were calling like some V scam. Like there were idiots calling it like a VeChain scam. Like look at this guy. This guy Chico was calling it a VeChain scam, right? Oh my god, this guy's a total like box mine. He put my freaking face on there too. Oh my god, VeChain's a scam, whatever the frick, right? Like it wasn't easy because people were very critical. They're like, oh my god, this guy's promoting a scam. VeChain's gonna go to zero. And look at VeChain now. Look at VeChain now, right? Like 4,000%, right? Like I'm laughing all the way to the bank right now. But obviously it wasn't easy. So there will be content being produced in the future. Obviously now all of a sudden I feel vindicated. I think there's a huge part of me that says, you know, I feel vindicated because a lot of people were very critical about this. They felt, oh, you know, they didn't even understand what it was. It was just popular, and because it dropped in price, it was popular to bash it, right? I feel like that's kind of like the tribalism in crypto. You know, it's something that drops in price, even though they're producing great amounts of work, even though they partner with like other companies like PwC, right, or DMAGL. Like people felt, oh my god, it's a scam, and it was popular to bash at that time for some reason. So that's my rant over there. Definitely feel vindicated. It is a situation where diamond hands helped me. It was not an easy task. I did have a node, which was great. So probably one of the bigger reasons why I managed to hold on with diamond hands was because I have one of those nodes, the X nodes. So because I had an X node, right? If I sold, I would have lost everything. I would have lost my node. So I wanted to keep my node going. So then I just held it with diamond hands through all this. And yeah, man, GG. That's all I say. I feel this is like where I do feel very vindicated right now. It is exploding in growth, and people are finally starting to realize it yet again. And I feel like it's a situation where VeChain, like when people start to understand what it is, it will really click with them. Like this is where I feel like most people right now, they probably still don't even understand what it does. Right? They're like, oh, this is cool. This is like a 2017 bag that, you know, some people are holding, like this box mining guy. He's probably holding this and now it's pumping, but they probably don't even know what it is. What it is it's corporate usage of stuff. So it's to do with supply chain management. You can verify where something is and it's tracked on a blockchain. And they have been building these products like the RFID tags that, you know, you immediately scan it, it goes into a warehouse, you scan it, you track it, you know where it is. And this is absolutely invaluable for both supply chain management and authenticity, which is huge in China. Like China has a huge problem with counterfeit, and it's just directly solving that with blockchain. It's one of the lowest hanging fruits. But anyways, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Kyrie says Coin has not gone live yet. So yeah, so we're kind of waiting for Coin to go live. So that's why today's show is like this. We're still waiting for it to officially go live on Nasdaq. The closest thing we've got right now is an FTX trading for the pair. So we still have to see. Right now it's trading a little bit lower because of the current and also there's the current market dump. People are wondering, can it really hit that 600? Can it not? But I'm not too concerned, and I'm not too concerned at all whatsoever right now in the market. So let's go to trading view. Let's take a look at what's happening. Let's just zoom out, zoom in a bit here. So all right. So we have Bitcoin. It's above the resistance. So we broke above it recently. Let me put it to an hour so we can see what happened. So yeah, we broke above it, right? So we broke above the resistance that we saw at $60,000, and it was just a one giant candle up to 62,000. And then obviously, as we approach a Coinbase listing, there's a little bit of anxiety on the market. And there's kind of two factors here, right? You guys know that in crypto, a lot of times people buy the rumor, sell the news, right? It was very clear what was happening with Coinbase, the coin ticker that was trading on FTX. In fact, coin is new. The old one is CBase, right? CBase. But I think it's removed. They removed CBase and they converted. Yeah, CBSE. It was previously called CBSE. We were looking at this morning, and because it's going live today, they changed it to Coin. And it just it was a slight change of the overall supply. So the total supply, they estimate the total supply of Coinbase to be 261 as opposed to your original 250 million Coinbase. So, anyways, regardless, what else? My point here was that there was a lot of hype leading up to Coinbase listing. This is a predictor. This is kind of like the FTX trading, the pre IPO market for Coinbase. So right now we're dumping. We're seeing that dump happen as there's a little bit of uncertainty of where it lists and what's going to happen, what the original investors are going to do. Because you guys remember, I talked about this. Barry Silbert got Coinbase shares. He bought them at 20 cents. All right. But anyways, beyond that, I felt like right now, so if you just look at what was happening recently, we saw a little bit of a dump, as the market started to open, we saw a little bit of a dump, but that dump did not last. That dump really quickly bounced up, right? You can definitely see that there was a bounce back right here. It tried, people tried to, break Bitcoin down a little bit, but nope, rejected. We're coming up. We're going up again. We see solid support coming in. This is where this is where I actually feel it gives me a lot of confidence, right? Like if that was all the dump that there was, if this is all the dumpers can do, if this is all the bears can do, then holy shit, are we in for some excitement, right? Like, anyways, I think that's gonna be some crazy. Flat Smack says coin might explode to 1K or drop at 100. I actually feel like the explosive potential of coin is low. I mean, if a lot of investors or original investors, they're looking for an exit, right? Because they made such incredible gains. We'll have to see. I feel like the upside is quite limited, at least for the short term, because there's so much FUD on the market, right? We see, like, if you search Coinbase, the first coin, if you search coin, like people are having a hard time justifying the valuation of Coinbase. I mean, especially considering that it's almost 3 times the market cap of Nasdaq, right? Like, people are joking, like, Coin's market cap is bigger than the exchange marketplace that it's being listed at. But obviously, there's a lot more explosive potential in crypto. You've seen that positive growth. So if I was to make a strategy to trade coin, I'll probably wait to see what happens the first week and then kind of look for the long-term potential, the more long-term. Because right now we have absolutely no data to go, like absolutely no data on Nasdaq rather to go on for the trading of coin. But yeah, I feel like it's probably like max. It can probably go up to 700 maybe. And then we'll have to see what happens after that. So Coinbase is GovCoin. It's Coin Live, so no. So right now it's still waiting. So we're still waiting. It could take a couple of hours. It could take 1 or 2 more hours. Like, people were expecting it to go live around 2 hours ago, but it's still not live yet. So we all we have right now are just kind of estimates and predictions. So we have the live markets. It is still not live yet. Smarks Kill Residents, forget Nasdaq, we need coin on Lena. On linear. I think so. So yeah. Anyways, Yeah, so that's what I'm doing right now. So I'm looking very closely at these DeFi. So I'm actually almost gonna try to double my DeFi bags at this current point. So I feel like that's where it is. I mean, I've shown you guys the reasoning, right? Which is, the solid revenues, right? The solid growth potential here. I definitely see a lot going on with DeFi. So I'm trying to double my DeFi bags. I'm getting into new projects. Been working super hard this week, calling people, figuring out what's going on, talking to people. The other thing I was looking at is Occam Finance. So I've been swearing not to being able to, not to reveal what they're doing, but they're launching very, very soon. And I saw some of the preview for what they're doing for the Razor. So that's going to go live very, very soon up here. That's something that I've also been following. And talking to them was very interesting because they're building they're building a smart DeFi layer on Cardano. And I think if I told myself, like if I told my past self that, oh, you're gonna invest in a DeFi Cardano DeFi layer product last year, I would have just like laughed my ass off and like, oh, you're joking. But it does turn out to be the case that there is solid development on Cardano. So it was one of those things that I got sick and tired of waiting for because, back in 2017, we featured Charles on this channel, right? Charles Hoskinson. And he's the founder of Cardano, and he's currently, talking about it nonstop. But the problem was it was so slow, right? But it seems to be the case that something's actually coming soon. So anyway, so that's kind of like the stuff I'm doing these days. I feel like if there was an investment thesis for me, it's actually to just look at everything and not have prejudice. I think that's kind of my current take on the market right now. I feel like, a lot of times I had, very strong prejudices in 2017. I was a little bit tribal, to say the very least. And I think something that happened to me in 2020 was that, I chose not to be tribal. And 2021, I'm just looking at whatever opportunities there are. And I feel like that's worked out super well for me. There was something super stupid that I did. It was an absolute Chad move, but it worked out very well. Like it was a situation where I shared this, but I don't know if it was a good share or not. All right, but I shared this. I don't think people even understood what this meant. But all right, so this was after the hype for Dogecoin. All right. So, you know how Elon endlessly tweets Dogecoin? And this is my realization that this market doesn't really care too much about fundamentals. It really cares more about the social. And Doge is it's like auto marketing, right? Because it's such a meme, it's auto marketing. So what I did, the stupid thing I did was that I was like, you know what? Let me take a gamble on Doge Bull. All right, Doge Bull. So I got in around 3,000. I was like, you know what? Let me just try. Let me just see what's happening, right? Like, if this is YOLO, let's YOLO, right? So I bought some Doge Bull at 3,417, and now Doge Bull, because it's leverage, because it's 3x leverage on Doge, right now it's $20,000. I'm like, holy crap. Obviously, it did take some time for this to mature, but I thought that was funny today. I looked at it, I was like, oh my god, Doge. Well, at least I had exposure via Doge Bull, right? But yeah, so I guess sometimes this works. I mean, I'm not trying to promote this in any way, form, or other. I think this is extremely dangerous. But at the same time, like because I wanted a little bit of exposure to Doge, I bought Doge Bull rather than just buy Doge directly because I thought, if I'm if I'm not hodling it, why not leverage it, right? So, anyways, yeah, so yeah, it's 20,000. So from 3,000 to $20,000. Yeah, and that was all the way from March. So, yeah, so it's been a month and a half. That was pretty fun. So, anyways, any thoughts? We got a question, so I'll do some Q&A. So thank you guys so much for questions. And by the way, guys, please do smash up those likes. I freaking hate begging on YouTube, but it really does help YouTube algorithm find what's happening, and it really does help the channel. So I love for you guys to support me on this. We have 762 people watching right now this spontaneous live stream. If you guys enjoy this content, it's your responsibility to click that like button. Yeah, get more information, get more alpha. The more you click, it's like karma, right? The more you click that like button, the more positive karma you guys get. All right, that's how the world works, guys. That's how the world works. So anyway, yeah, click those up. I had a good question. So a comparison between FTT and BNB. It's super different because FTT, right? FTT is on the FTX exchange, and I see a lot of potential here, right? So first and foremost, FTX, Sam's a genius. They have less users, but the users trade more. Right, that's the crazy part of FTX. Like every big trader is using FTX because it's way more powerful, right? And I didn't really believe this until most of this year. Like I think I had the special advantage of being able to see their team. So I've been in their office and I've seen their team. I'm like, okay, these guys, you know something. And I'll tell you my biggest regret, which is I had the opportunity. A lot of my friends got into the FTX ICO. Right, they're offering. Right, this is like ages ago, and I chose not to go in. I'm like, whatever. I don't know who this Sam guy is. He's got some crazy hair. I was super busy at this time, and that I missed out on like 1,000x from that. But anyways, long story cut short, FTT right now at $56. Market cap is at it's at $4.9 billion right now. They're super aggressive. All the pro traders like them. They're making massive fees and they're moving super fast. So that's their advantage. And they have a very different kind of strategy from Binance. But majority of my trades now are on FTX. All right, that's just a fact. A lot of the reason is because as a maker, if I in the current key structure, if I'm making the market, I get paid rather than instead of charging me per trade, I get paid per trade, right? If you're a maker in FTX, so this is their fee. This is their FTT fee structure. So it depends on how much FTT you hold, and so it's cheaper for me to trade on FTT. So that's one of the reasons why I'm there, and I think a lot of people move there. So to answer that question, I've wanted to go very quickly. First and foremost, I think FTT has a huge growth potential, but it has one weakness, which is that it doesn't have its own chain. Binance Smart Chain has their own chain, and a lot of projects are moving onto Binance Smart Chain, which is why the activity is also exploding on there. So I feel like FTT, now I'm converted, I'm a holder, but the philosophy, the strategy here is completely different from Binance. Binance, I feel like BSC has a lot of potential to grow the BNB and value for that, but the strategy for FTX is a little bit different. All right, so I hope you answered that question right there. We also have a reciprocal comment from who was it? VET. Ankis says, I'm a holder of VET from 2017. Yeah, it was not an easy hold, but man, are we rewarded for that hold. Lucas Tolini says, will you participate in the XFi LGE tomorrow? Absolutely. Oplo user says, FTX integrates well with Solana. Well, not just that, but Serum. I'm also a holder of Serum. Like Serum, I got in because I knew I missed out on FTT, but I was like, I cannot miss out on Serum. So yes, I did manage to get in on the Serum offering. So I have a Serum node, which is locked up for 7 years. TIIS24 says, FTT or CRO? Absolutely FTT. Without a doubt, FTT. All right, CRO, you guys know I hate those guys. I hate them less now, but they were the guys who doxed me. They hated me. I did a few videos, and I thought at that time that they had virtual offices. They didn't look very legit, so I did a few videos to say, look, I found their company registry, the registration. I found their what was happening, who the founders are. I did everything, and they thought I was being aggressive. And they found where I lived, and like they tried to threaten me. It was like a shit show, and yeah, like ever since then, it was like CRO. No, I just didn't like the way they handled that situation. It was a situation where I was not being paid to expose them or anything. It was just purely out of interest. Sorry, I need to drink some water. But anyways, I just didn't ring for me. But anyways, yeah, bad blood. Also, it's kind of funny. Like Chris Marszalek, he made a few videos to respond to my videos, and he was like, "That box mining. Like it's like that's a good Bond villain right there." GG. So, anyways, Jason asked, "What do you think about Elrond?" So Elrond's been pretty explosive recently, pretty damn explosive. So I hold Elrond. You guys know. I held them through a phase when people were freaking out about e-gold. You guys still remember that? There was a meme floating around. It's like off the Titanic. They're calling e-gold the Titanic, right? Because it was like a combination. They made e-gold more expensive, and then people freaked out. But the performance of e-gold is just phenomenal because of just the way the network operates. I think this will take up some time for adoption. I think this is, yet again, it's like if you're looking for adoption waves, right? If you're looking for adoption waves, like the first wave is definitely obviously Bitcoin, and then for smart contracts, it was Ethereum. Ethereum really started the smart contract. It started decentralized finance, and then a lot of the other chains started to do similar things, but it didn't really take off until Binance, right? Then that was the Binance narrative, the BSC narrative, Binance Smart Chain narrative. It was PancakeSwap. All of a sudden, billions of dollars were being traded on there, and then liquidity was being added. That was like the first kind of big major adoption of a smart chain. And this also explains why Binance Smart Chain is like just moving up so fast, right? Outperforming everything. But obviously, we're looking for other smart chains that's going to move. So there's going to be two kind of big narratives, I think, probably two or three, right? So first of all, foremost, obviously Solana. So Solana is the chain that Sam from FTX really likes. So that's like the next kind of big thing. I do have exposure onto that for Solana. So Solana is both fast and it doesn't have it's not as centralized as Binance Smart Chain, right? And it doesn't have composability issues too. It doesn't have sharding. So it doesn't use a sharding technique. They use a lot of network techniques to improve the speed of their network, and they think that by using these techniques instead of sharding, what's going to happen is it's going to allow a lot of these decentralized applications to work closer to each other because there's no issue of like, oh, what shard are you on? So Ethereum is taking the sharding technique, right? It's going to be Ethereum 2.0 is going to be sharded. That's what the final state is going to be like. And the biggest worry is decentralized applications are on different shards. They're almost like on different worlds, right? Different you kind of think of like alter universes, right? There are different alter universes, and how does communication work between these two? So that's kind of like the biggest worry for Ethereum, and that's why Solana is going the other way. They're saying, we're not sharded. We're using network techniques to make it super fast. And obviously, to answer a question about Elrond is basically using state sharding technique. It's already deployed, already live, and they're using a different language as well. They're using Rust. So it's good and bad, right? It's good in the sense that it's very, very different from Ethereum. It's going to allow people to program in Rust, which is a more rigorous language, and it's going to be less room for contract exploits. Right, so this is what Elrond is offering. But at the same time, it means that developers can't just copy-paste code. They can't copy-paste code from Ethereum and just deploy it onto, like, say, Binance Smart Chain. So I think Elrond wave, like the Elrond narrative, is probably going to come after the Solana narrative. I feel like that's kind of the way it is. Like, everyone's working with everyone, but everything is being built in the background. And then when people start to actually use it, right, I feel like that's going to be like in one or two waves. Right, that's my honest thought. So I feel like this is a situation where I'm just hodling it. I don't really care too much. I know that they're gonna do stuff in the background. I know that technology is solid. And then the next one I'm looking for, the next narrative wave I'm looking for is really with the Solana stuff. So with Serum, with Radium, there's just so much going on. That's the crazy part. Oh, and of course AVAX, Avalanche. Oh my God, Avalanche as well. I think Avalanche and Solana, they're gonna battle it out. They are gonna battle it out. And so, all right. All right. I think that's pretty much it for today's comments. I felt like that's a lot going on. So, guys, thank you guys so much for smashing up the likes. We already got 200. Let's try to push it up for 300 before we finish up the show. Obviously, I wanted to wait until Coinbase was live on Nasdaq, but I think that's around an hour. Almost like we're getting close to an hour. I feel like there's no point waiting too much. So if you guys want to check out on a prediction of what is going to happen on Coinbase when Coinbase lists, or at least for the price of coin, check the coin prices on FTX. So I mean, that's the address up here. You can just go to FTX, and then you can go just search coin. And you'll see it there, right? So Coinbase is up there. It's dropping a little bit right now, so we'll have to see what happens when everything goes live. But yeah, that's what it is at right now. So be careful. My take on it is I'm not gonna have high expectations for this, but what I'm gonna say is that this is gonna have huge impact on the whole entire ecosystem. That's what we're seeing right there. So Samuel Prince says 15 to 20 minutes will start. We'll have to see. We've got Flat Smack says, Emin Gunsonier, the god of father of crypto, OG AVAX Cornell team to the moon and beyond. We got Llama 666 says, oof that dump. But remember Llama 666, all right? Remember. There wasn't an opportunity for a lot of the shareholders of Coinbase to dump at these prices, right? You saw the rally up for Coinbase for coin all the way to 600 on FTX exchange, but that's because there was no sell pressure, right? That sell pressure is coming from the early investors of Coinbase that get their shares. They can dump it on the market. So we didn't see that until now, right? So that's kind of why, this is just a predictor. But it's because it's live, because it's being traded, it's a better predictor than people pulling numbers out of their ass, right? That's the difference, because it's actually live. Yahoo Finance live stream says $375 for coin. Let me check Yahoo Finance. Yahoo Finance. All right, let's check it out. So Oliver, I guess you got to tell me where you're seeing this. So currently the one that I'm seeing right now on my Yahoo Finance, it doesn't say anything. It still says 250. But yeah, I guess it's. This guy's a joker too. Like, Jesus. Coinbase. Editor pick. Coinbase is really worth $5 billion, not $100 billion, say strategist. Like, is this guy dumb? Like, come on. I know there's sensation, right? But okay. Let's look at what this guy's saying. All right. New Construct CEO David Traynor. All right. Let's see. I think Coinbase is worth closer to 5 billion or 10 billion as opposed to 100 billion, Traynor tells Yahoo Finance. This is the brokerage industry. It's not new. Coinbase is not reinventing the wheel in any way. They're just trading a new product. There's no reason that the New York Stock Exchange or Nasdaq couldn't also potentially trade crypto. Are you... I'm just lost. Like who puts these guys on? Like, who makes news articles for these guys? All right, there's like a million reasons why Nasdaq is not going to trade crypto, because first and foremost, it's not a security. All right, like that's what ISO's for. Right, but beyond that, because Coinbase already has users, right? This is the key thing to remember. Once you have users, users don't like leaving your platform. Coinbase already has users, and in Q1, they were making $1.8 billion in revenue in just 1 quarter of this year. And just judging by the way the second quarter of this year is going, like how crypto prices are moving up and there's more excitement, like I wouldn't be surprised if they generated $4 billion of revenue this year. And you're saying Coinbase is worth $5 billion. Like, oh my God. Like, oh my God, point to several red flags. Oh my God. Is this what boomers are reading these days? Jesus. The matter of fact is, it's very likely people like Trainer here, they missed out on the bubble, not the bubble, the explosion. They probably called it a bubble, right? These are the same people who called it a bubble, and then they missed out. And then now they're salty. They're saying, "Oh my God, it's just worth $5 billion." F off. Like, come on, give me a real number. Give me like if he gave a number like $50 billion, I would have said, you know what? Okay, you probably don't really understand, but you at least you're realistic. This guy's just looking for some news feature on Yahoo Finance, and this is why I don't read this stuff. It's like, Jesus. How much does Brian Armstrong get paid? Oh my God. Yeah, there's just this insane hype. This is where like you see in traditional finance just infinite noise. Like the noise to actual value ratio is super low. Super low. But anyways, we'll see how it goes. I mean, I think the best predictor here is still FTX, because people are trading that. We'll have to see how it lists up when it goes up, and we'll see. Yeah. Sebastian now says Coinbase will do better than Binance Coin. I think the biggest problem with comparing these two is that Coinbase is a security, so they're listing a security, so the functionality is different. Coin is going to allow more people, general public, to get exposure to both crypto industry and also potentially crypto markets, right? So that's the opportunity here play for Coinbase. But Coin itself, it is a security, so that's great. But BSC, Binance Coin, is not a security; it's a utility coin, and it's its own network as well. So it's very, very different. You're comparing meat to like vegetables to meat right now. Like you kind of need both. Binance has said that they're not going to do an IPO, so they're not. They do have shares. It is there's a company, they do have shares. But the coin is not a security. The coin does not represent anything to do with Binance shares. It's purely for utility on Binance platform and also on their chain, Binance Smart Chain. So it's completely different. Oliver P says, look at your Twitter account. All right, let me look at Box Mining Twitter. I'm logged on Box on Box plant right now. Been following you for years. Help Elongate token. We're heavily charity focused. We'll love your input. Like, I'll be honest, like if you guys are talking about charity, I think it's a little bit too early for crypto charity right now. Like, I think everyone wants to make money, right? And then after everyone makes money, they should donate money. But yeah, make money first. All right, Sunny interview. Try to get it's time for a new Sunny interview. Yeah, I'll try to do that. All right, guys. I think that's pretty much it for today. We'll find you guys very soon. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We got 800 something people watching right now. Let's hit 300 likes, guys. Let's do it. Let's get this party started. And yeah, I'll see you guys next stream. Peace. I'd like to take the time now to tell you a little bit about everything that's happening in the box mining ecosystem. First and foremost, if you guys like listening to all that's happening in crypto on the go, then I would highly recommend you checking out the Box Mining Bitcoin Out of the Box podcast. And the reason why it's called Bitcoin Out of the Box is because we have long interview segments very much exploring the detail of the newest and latest of what's going on in this whole cryptocurrency space. Whole idea of it is to bridge that gap between knowledge privileged institutional investors and the rest of us here in this space. Now, with the podcast, it's on everything. So it's on Apple Podcasts, it's on Google Podcasts, it's on Spotify. Just search it anywhere, Bitcoin out of the box. So just add that onto a playlist and then just follow the new episodes when it's released. Next up, we also have the box mining newsletter. So this happens roughly bi-weekly. We give you an update of the latest that's going on in a very summarized, condensed format. So this is perfect for anyone that wants an overview of the market. Say, for example, what's happening with OKX, the biggest event, or maybe the little things like what's happening with different coins and overall the trend. So what I use the newsletter for personally myself is to understand what kind of phase we're in crypto, to kind of get in tune. So if you don't read crypto every day, the newsletter is perfect for you. Last but not least, in the link down below, if you're a Telegram user, we have the box mining announcements channel. So this is to announce to you basically what's the latest videos coming up, but also we have a daily update, a community-driven daily update to provide you an idea of the latest updates on a day. And a lot of people have been using that to get informed of the crazy amounts of trends that we see. And I have to give a big thank you for Claudio, our community member, for doing this. It's just been phenomenal. Definitely want to give you a shout out there, Claudio, as well for that. And taking us to the end of the live stream, so make sure, number one, you click like and subscribe on this video because it really does help this channel. And then, of course, check out the podcast. It's one of the best ways to know a little bit more, to extend that knowledge, especially in your spare time. And then, of course, check out the newsletter. If you're, if you want those updates and summaries and trends, newsletter is the place for you. And with that, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you have a good one. See you in the next video.